There we go. Hi, Susie. I handed it to your husband when he was taking out the trash. Give us just
Yeah, I saw that. He told me. Yeah.
Okay, well, welcome everybody. I wanted to spend, I think, about half the time just kind of going over some general travel tips and things to know and what to pack, and then the other half of the time I'm hoping to go over the itinerary. Um, I'd love if we all introduced ourselves, but I do want to try to be quick. So maybe you can just say your name, where you live, and how you heard about the trip, because I actually don't know that for everybody. Um, and then we'll just do that kind of quickly. So I will call out the names in the order I see them on my screen. So Anne, you would be first.
Ann Miller, and I live in Livermore. And I heard about the trip through Alice and Renda and Michelle and Kathleen. They forwarded the email that there was one open spot. So I grabbed it and I'm excited to be part of the trip.
Great. And Katie?
Hi, I'm Katie. I'm from San Carlos, and I just heard about the trip through Kelly. And I went on Iceland too. So.
Yeah, if you've traveled with me before, maybe say that too. Okay, Janet, you're next.
Hi, Janet O'Rourke. I heard about the trip through my sister-in-law, Barb, and she had a great time in Iceland, so can't wait to join the group on this trip. So
Great. And Barb, you're next. Where are you, Janet?
Sunnyvale.
Oh, okay, that's where I grew up. Okay, Barb.
Hi, I'm Barb. I went to Iceland and had a fabulous time, and so she can't get rid of me. I'm going to Greece.
Yes, very happy that you are. She was feeling unsure about joining for Iceland and didn't know anybody, and then she recruited 3 people to come on this trip. And one of her
San
friends,
Carlos too.
Yeah, one of her friends had to drop out. Her husband was in a terrible car accident, but she contacted me over the weekend and said she would like to try to go. So we're working on that. So we'll see. Yeah, I didn't know if you knew that.
I didn't. I haven't seen her.
Yeah,
I didn't
we're
know that
working on it.
either.
Yeah, I haven't told Robin that either, for that matter. But because I don't know for sure, I have to work with the company and see if they can do it. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. And Regina, you're next.
Hello, everybody. I'm Regina. I had a blast on the Iceland trip. I was so excited. It was like a no-brainer to do this again. And I'm from San Carlos.
And Michelle, you are next. Just have to find the darn unmute button. Did you hear me, Michelle? You are on mute. So I'm going to move on to Alex. Are you ready? There we go.
I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Michelle. I'm from Santa Cruz, and I heard about the trip from Allison Renda and Kathleen Dillon, and I'm really excited to meet you guys and join you on this trip. Sounds great.
Alex, you're next.
Hi there, I'm Alex, and I live right next to San Carlos in Emerald Hills. And Kelly has been my amazing travel agent for years, and I think I got on an email list for this. And then once I saw Greece, I was like, I'm going. So
yeah. And Susan, you are next.
I'm Susan Hobbs. I live in Cupertino, and I went to Iceland.
Yes. Susan and I's kids went to school together and did much theater together. And Maureen, you are next.
I'm Maureen, and I live in Redwood City, and I also went on Iceland trip and had an amazing time, and I'm excited for this trip.
Yeah, we couldn't be more opposite between Iceland and Greece, huh? Trisha, you are next. Trisha? She's looking right at us. Okay, I'll go back to you, Trisha. Lorraine, you are next.
Yeah, hi. Like Alex, I'm from Emerald Hills, and I went on the Iceland trip, and I think Iceland was just the icebreaker. It's going to be great.
And Lisa, you are next.
Cool. I'm Lisa Moore. I live up in Fairfield, but I'm frequently in Redwood City. and San Carlos, and that's where I stumbled across Kelly. We were talking about trips whilst I was getting my nails done, and I said, I never say this to anybody, but can I get on your mailing list? So, and so this
Yeah,
is
I
my
asked her when I saw
trip.
she lived in Fairfield, how did you hear about my trips? And she said, I met you in the nail salon. It's like, oh, I'll talk to
And
anybody.
our gal actually says, Kelly is so much fun. You're going to have such a great time. So,
Oh, good. Yeah.
yeah.
And Susie, Lico.
Yeah, hi. So I went on the fabulous Iceland trip with many of these women, and it was fantastic. And I've known Kelly through theater, children's theater, that is, for quite a long time. So I live in St. Carlos.
Yeah. You and I were in a show together too.
Yes,
Sound of
ma'am.
Music.
Yes,
And Regina. 3 of us.
yes, and Regina.
Yeah. And then Betsy, I know you're just on, I think you're just on, I was gonna say orally, but it sounds funny. We
Yeah,
only have
yeah,
an
that didn't
oral
sound
version.
right. I don't think that's what we're gonna say, but yeah. Yeah, I'm currently stranded at the Vegas airport, so here I am. I am from San Carlos, and I went on the Iceland trip with some of these lovely ladies, and I am ready for more, so I'm going back to Greece. So hopefully you hear me okay. Okay.
Yeah, we can hear
A lot
you.
going on here, let me tell you. Okay. I'm gonna mute.
Sorry you're stuck. And then Robin,
Yeah.
I think we just have you on the audio. That's a better word as well, or maybe. But anyway,
Yeah,
why don't you say hi?
hi, I'm just dark, and you can probably see a little bit in the car. I'm just pulling into my driveway, but does that help? I live in San Rafael in Marin, but I work in San Carlos, and I've known Barb for many years. And we both had Greece on our #1 bucket list, and she told me how fabulous Iceland was. And so I jumped on the bandwagon.
All right. So I think we're going to have a great time. Couple people, almost everybody's on. Let's see. 4, 8, 12, 16. Jimena, we're hoping we can add. We had one person, Kathleen, who some of you knew in Iceland, that had to drop out. Oh, our other Kathleen isn't here either, but I think she told me she couldn't make it. Okay, so I'm going to try sharing my screen and going over. Okay, I'm going to start by, can you see my screen? Did that work? Are you looking at something that says Europe travel tips?
No.
We're looking at you.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay. So I always seem to have trouble with this. Oh, okay. There we go. Share. Okay. Okay. This document now you're seeing, right?
It's loading.
Okay.
Yes.
This document is in your itinerary. It's under the very front section that says information or something like that. This is what I give all my clients, but I'm gonna just go through it very quickly. We'll talk about arrival transfers first. Everybody has an arrival transfer, even if you're not arriving at the same time as everybody. That's on the itinerary, what time. They all have all of your flights. Typically, well, they are monitoring your flight. They know what flight each person's on. If it's up to about an hour delayed, they typically wait. More than that, we might need to make other arrangements. But look for a sign that says Wanderlust Women after you're through customs and have your bags picked up. And I think, except maybe for Lorraine, everybody has more than one person that they'll be transferred with. 3 of us are coming a day early. Quite a few are on those American flights. We have 4 on a later United flight, and then I think we've got Regina a little bit. Lorraine a little bit after that. And all of you have my number, both personally and WhatsApp as well. I'm getting in the night before. I have a bunch of info in here about airline delays. What I'm just going to say is everybody should download the app for the airline you're on. It makes it a lot easier if you do have to make a change, or I had a couple of times that I had really severe delays this summer, and the quickest way to do it was to do it in the app. The other thing I do is if I have to get in the line, I get on the app and I get on the phone in the queue all at the same time. And what I really love to do, I'll just give you this as a tip anytime you're traveling, is if you can get into the lounge, like United Lounge or whatever, they have representatives in there, and it's so much shorter than dealing with couple hundred people in customer service. So let's hope none of us have these problems, but those are just some tips about delays. And then just let me know, if there's something severe going on, send me a message on WhatsApp. Cash, the easiest way to get euros, I find, well, one of two ways. ATMs are all over, and typically I just get them right when I land at the airport. There's always an ATM machine in the where baggage claim is. If these days I'm finding with the banks, if you like, at least with Wells Fargo, if you ask them in advance, they will order you euros, but they don't always have them on hand. And it's nice if you can get small bills. Getting it at the airport really isn't a problem. And you won't need tips right away. You don't really need to tip the driver, but sometimes I like knowing I have some for tips right away. So sometimes, actually what I do now is I just save some from my last trip or get them at the bank. But I would say too, I mean, if everybody can do that in the airport, it makes it easier than us all trying to stop the group somewhere when you need cash. So just try to bring it or get it right when you land. I don't typically use the airport currency booths. They tend to have a higher rate. Tips. So Europeans don't expect tips the same way. Typically, good restaurant service might be 10%, and they don't usually have a line to sign it on a credit card, so you would want cash for that. You might round up in a cafe. You don't tip bartenders, you don't tip taxi drivers. You do tip tour guides, so that's kind of the first thing you'll come across that you'll need a tip for. Half day, I usually say 3 to 5 euros per person, and full day, I say 5 to 10 euros per person. So we'll kind of be, typically what I do is I have an envelope, and you guys all kind of hand me up what you want, and typically I just give it to them in one envelope, kind of collected on the bus kind of thing. All of the things that we're doing all together, not with other groups. So it's not like when you get off, the driver's standing there and you need to hand him your tip. I can give it to him from the group. So you will want to keep that in mind. For dress, it will be warm when we're there. Something comfortable and something good for warm weather will be good. We will be, of course, on beaches and opportunity for swimming and such. I always say bring 2 or 3 pairs of shoes, because if you wear the same pair of shoes every day, it's nice to swap them out. I mean, it's nice to have something, maybe in the evening when we're going out that you can wear with a dress or something. So having a couple pairs of shoes is good. I gave everybody, or will give everybody, a plug converter. And for those that traveled with me before, I gave you a luggage scale. But bring that. And then just know that curling irons and hair dryers and straighteners that you bring from the US won't work there unless they're dual voltage or European. You can find them on Amazon that say they're dual voltage or made for European travel. I've bought them there so that I can travel with them. But the converter doesn't work with all your hotels will have hair dryers. So I know we like our own, but you don't need to worry about that. But curling irons and straighteners won't work even with the converter because of the voltage. You all have travel insurance. And so while I'm on that note, COVID is going around again. I'm sure we all know. What I've always done on my trips is ask everybody to test the night before and send it to me. We don't want any surprises. Sometimes you already have it and you don't know it. And that way it would be sad, but if anybody has it, your insurance will cover it. We can cancel the trip and you'll get a refund. But we wouldn't want you to start the trip and then everybody gets it. So if I'll send a reminder, but just take that test the day before. You don't have to send it to the whole group. You don't even have to send me the results or the picture. Just send me a message saying I tested negative. That's all I want to know. And then, I'm not going to tell anybody what to do, but I'm trying to be careful right now. The last time I was in a theater, I wore a mask. Like, it's just not a great time for that. So let's all try to make sure we can get through the trip healthy. I carry tests with me, and I won't have, 20 of them. So bring COVID tests, because if you're not feeling well, it's good to be able to test right away and know. The other thing that I do, if you can, is I carry one of the video ones with me, or the kind that you can get the instant results. Because for the insurance, if you get COVID and you have to cut the trip short or isolate or whatever, they need to see an official lab test showing that you have COVID, not like a picture of a home test or whatever. So, if possible, trying to bring one of those. I will bring a couple too, and I tell that to my clients. Or you find a local lab or a doctor, but it can be a pain when you're not feeling well and you're in another country to do all that.
Say that again,
Um,
Kelly, with the video test? I missed that.
um, let me make a note to send you a link. And I think some of them now I've seen on the box have an option for it, but there's a specific test, and I want to say it's called like EMED test. And I did last time I was in Greece, you still had to test to get back in the country. They actually changed it the week I was there, but not in time. So I brought one of these with me. I sat in my hotel in Greece. You log into this website, you open the box in front of them, you take the test in front of them. If it's positive or negative, either way, because I needed to show it was negative, they email you the results, and now you have an official lab result that you can use for insurance. Or back then I needed to get back in the country. So I'll try to send you a link for what I'm talking about. And I will bring a couple, but God forbid we all get sick. I won't have enough for everybody, but that won't happen.
But that's no longer the case, right?
No,
Kelly?
you do not need it to get back in the country. It's just, I did have a family this summer that was in Japan and got sick, and they had to have luckily the hotel was very helpful, but they had to find a lab for them to go get this test so that the insurance would cover the extra expenses that they had. That's the main reason, really. And you all have insurance, so let's see, packing and luggage. It's great if you can do carry on. You don't have to worry about lost luggage. But I know, like for me, I'm going to be gone almost 2 weeks. I'll have check bags. And since a lot of us, well, we're all going to have to wait for the check bags anyway. But do keep whatever's important with you in your carry on. And I did have several families this summer. It's another thing that's been going on a lot with luggage delays. In fact, one of them was in Greece, and she had a heck of a time finding things in Mykonos. It's not like there's a Target there or whatever. So carry a swimsuit, an extra outfit, a couple pairs of underwear, and your medications and your carry on, so that they did get a tour just like us. The first stop was Athens. Luggage didn't arrive. Then they went on to Mykonos and they forwarded it to them. But, those things happen. Phones and internet. Check with your providers. I know offhand that AT&T is automatic. It's $10 a day. You don't have to call them or anything. And that's for whatever plan you have at home. If you have unlimited calling and data, that just carries over. But, other carriers you'd need to check with. If you don't want to incur cellular charges or pay $10 a day, you want to put your phone in airplane mode and turn Wi-Fi on. And then whenever you're in a cafe or a hotel with Wi-Fi, you can just use that. Have your family get on WhatsApp too, because you can use that for calling and texting. And anytime you're on Wi-Fi, that works without having to have a cellular plan. And then, as you all know, I know you're all on it, that's what we use to communicate as a group. I will start a picture list. Sometimes we share pictures on that WhatsApp group, but the quality's not as good. And so what I found is a lot of us have iPhones, and if I start a shared photo album, and I don't like every picture of beautiful beach on there because we can take our own, but the group pictures that, oh, I got this great picture of Barb and you want to share, it's nice because she didn't get that picture. So or pictures, of all of us or whatever, or just something fun that you want to share. So I'll start a picture group. I have found for people not on iPhones, it's a little trickier, and they have to get an email, and they need to be on Wi-Fi to do it. So just be aware of that. But so far we've managed to get everybody on it. Okay, another hint I like to give people is people always ask, do I take my passport with me when I go out or leave it in the hotel? I leave it in the hotel safe. You're more likely to lose something, or I've never had this happen, but God forbid, get robbed, than anything happen to it in the passport in the hotel safe. So I like to keep an extra credit card and some cash and my passport in the safe. That way, I like to travel with 2 credit cards. If something happens to one, even if it's compromised, or my ex did have a wallet get taken in a train station in France, then you have another one and you call and cancel that one, and a debit card so that you can get cash. Keep everything else at home. Keep the library card and the Costco card and even the driver's license and everything you don't need at home, because why risk anything happening to it? And you don't need all of that. So 2 credit cards and a debit card and a passport. And none of you are driving while you're there. So, and just a tip. If you can, I've had this happen. If you can't, if you want to, well, you're all going to have the itinerary on your phone. Another thing I tell people is grab a business card if you're out and about, so that if you, Greece, everyone's going to speak English, but in general, if you have language barriers or anything, it's nice to just hand them the business card and say, take me here. All you need is passport, and you need 3 months on it, which we've checked with everybody, so you should all be good. It's nice to have a picture of your passport on your phone. Just helps if you did have to get it replaced. And I think the last thing I'll just touch on is for those of you that don't have global entry, if you're if you're flying, well, a lot of airports have it, but SFO has this mobile passport app. You can look for it in the App Store. It's called MPC, or Mobile Passport Control. It works the same as Global Entry. And when you get off at SFO, and I don't remember where everybody's going through, but I think JFK has it too. There's a line for global entry, there's a line for mobile passport control, and there's a line for everybody else. And it's like a little kiosk. And if you have the app and you've already put your passport on it, then you just, when you land and you're back in cell service, you open the app, you answer the questions like you normally do on that piece of paper, like, I don't have drugs, I don't have anything to declare, whatever. And then you just scan it in the kiosk. So look into that app if you don't have it already. Okay, I'm going to move on to what to bring. You'll want your suitcase, of course, and a carry-on. It's nice to have a small, a day pack, whatever that is to you, a backpack, a tote bag, whatever, just to carry what you need. In this case, like when we were in Iceland and Ireland, we were on the same bus every day and we could leave stuff on, but that won't be the case here. So whatever you want for the day, you'll want to bring with you and carry with you. We've touched on a lot of this already. Oh, chargers, portable chargers. You're going to find that's really handy for long days of travel or on the bus, or days that we're on ferries, or also taking pictures takes a lot of data. So if you don't already, some kind of portable charger where when your phone's running down, you can just plug into that, can be really handy. Sometimes these buses have chargers on them, but because we're in, some of us 5 different places, or 3, 2 islands in Athens, I don't know what all the buses will have. Though for water, you're going to find you end up buying water a lot, but it's still good to bring a water bottle, because a lot of times at breakfast there's water or pitchers of water, or even asking if they'll fill your water bottle for you, and then you'll have some water to start with for the day. And it's a good idea to still bring a mask. I think I gave everybody sanitizer in their little bags. We talked about the COVID tests. Okay, I think that's what I still have Ireland on there. I did mention I thought it would be fun, and I put what day on the itinerary to try for it, that if we all wore white one night and just got a cute picture all in white. So if you have something to bring, that would be great. Don't stress too much over it. So I'm going to move on to going through the itinerary, but I'll ask real quick if anybody has questions on what we just covered. Okay, so
I have a question. Sorry, Kelly.
Yeah.
This is more. I was wondering, all that information you just showed us, where?
Yeah. Let me show you where.
Yeah.
So in the beginning of the itinerary, under information and documents, there's a document called Europe Tips.
Okay.
And I don't know if you guys are following along on a computer or on your phone, but it's in the app. It's in the very beginning. Oh, and so why I'm here, there's a local tax at all the hotels in Greece that I could not prepay or make as part of the package. And the other thing about European hotels is they make you check out. Here, you just leave. They've got your credit card and they don't care about the little plastic card getting back. But in Europe, they make you check out. So, and you know, you may have incidentals, you may have had drinks at the bar, or if we had dinner at the hotel. So just make sure that the night before or you give yourself enough time in the morning to check out. And there will be, I think it's typically €4 per day. So split with you and your roommate, it's like €2 per day. Just be prepared that there's that little tax that I couldn't include. And so when you check out, you'll see that. Okay.
When you can I have a question too? When you
Yeah.
say the app, is it a Wanderlust Women app? What app are you talking about?
So I sent an email today, and I had sent it previously, I
Is that
believe.
Euro travel app?
It's called Trip Plans, I think. On
Okay,
your
but that has nothing to do with Wanderlust Women. That's just a general app. Okay.
No, so what I'm showing you on my screen right now, and if you were to click the link from the email, would look basically like this. I actually think I'm in my travel agent version right now. Maybe I'll switch over to the PDF and it'll look more, well, wait a minute.
Okay, I just was clarifying. Thank you.
Sure. Now I'm stuck.
I didn't notice.
Also, you
Has
did.
everybody had a chance to look at it? I think it looks more like this on your end.
Yeah, I have that. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So everybody, 3 of us arrive a day early, but everybody else arrives on the 24th. And as I touched on, everybody has transfers. You'll, when you get through customs and get your luggage, look for someone with a sign that says Wanderlust Women.
And you didn't mention me for coming alone, but you do have a transfer for me,
I
right?
do, because you're a day early. I do on the 23rd.
Yep. Okay,
Right
good. Thank
there,
you.
2:20. Yeah. And so everybody else, they have the time that you're arriving and they're waiting for you. And then that afternoon, so you'll check in at the hotel. Since people are coming at different times, you should just be able to give your name. Sometimes I've seen they might have one roommate's name and not the other. So if it doesn't come up with yours, ask for the roommate's name, but they should have all your names. And then at 4 o'clock, we have our food tour. We have 5 people coming in later, but everybody else signed up for that. And it's a 17-minute walk from the hotel. So we'll meet at, I don't think I put that there, but we'll meet at 3:30 and walk over together. So on this day, of course, it's your arrival day, and then your dinner is included. In general, all of our breakfasts are included, and well, they are all included. And then at other days, if there's a meal included, I'll point that out. But typically, we're always, except for Kefalonia, where we have the food tour one night, and then this Athens food tour, you're always gonna dinner's always on our own, and then lunch. Occasionally, we have a tour that includes it. But I've tried to. Ooh, we have 10 minutes. I've tried to know what the plan is for each meal and what the hours are. So the next morning they start serving breakfast at 7. Typically when I travel to Europe, I'm up bright and early. It's that you crash early. So we typically have somewhat of early starts. So breakfast is at 7. That's included. Need to be checked out by 7:45 because at 8 we get picked up and we're going to the Acropolis and the Acropolis Museum. And what will happen that day is we will take our luggage on the bus and go do our tour. And when we're done, the bus takes us to the airport. So when we leave that day, we take everything with us and it gets stored on the bus. And then we go to the airport from there. So we leave for the airport about noon. Our flight is at 4:40. And so there's time once we check in and get our bags checked to have lunch and have a little bit of time before the flight. We'll probably be at the airport 12:31. Arrive in Kefalonia at 5:45. We always have transfers, and then we check into the Electric Kefalonia. What I've done each night is in Iceland and Ireland. In Iceland, we were always at some country inn, and there was a restaurant, so there were no choices for the most part. We just ate there, and pretty much all got in at the same time and ate at the same time. In Ireland, the meals were actually included for similar reasons because we were staying at castles, and you ate there. Here, we're on our own for the dinners. But I didn't want like 18 or 19 people like wondering where to go, and then we can't get 19 people in. So I made reservations. They are optional. You may or may not want to go. You might want something more casual or stay at the hotel, or you're not hungry or whatever. But I thought it was safer to make that reservation so that people didn't have to figure it out. So the first night I just made it for something that's in walking distance, and I made it for 8. Another thing to know is they eat late there. 8's the earliest I can ever get, and some of them are 9 because it's just how they eat there. And the next morning, breakfast 8 a.m. We have Kefalonia tour. They pick us up, and we're out for 5 hours. I don't think this one we need a swimsuit. I think it's more scenic. That afternoon is on your own. If you want, I made a dinner reservation that night in town, which is a taxi right away. And so you could leave early if you want to explore the town, or you could go just for the dinner. This is the night I was thinking we might do an all white picture just because it was scenic and everybody will be there.
Kelly?
Yes.
Sorry, do we have the same tour guide all day?
No.
In each of these? No.
No, different every day. So that is also different than the last 2 trips. Just the nature of the fact that we're moving around more, and some of the days are just fun, like go to beach club or whatever. So no, we always have a guide for these tours, but it's different each time.
Okay.
So you would tip at the end of the tour. Okay, the next day we have just about everybody signed up for the e-bike tour, and they're breaking us into 2 groups. So one group will leave at 8 a.m. Breakfast starts at 8 a.m. So ask the hotel if we could get like some to-go boxes, and they said yes. So half of us are in the 8 a.m. group, but then you get the afternoon off, and the other half are at 11, but you get to have breakfast and sleep in. So we'll swap. We might, I set this one up that includes the transportation, it includes lunch, and it includes the activity. So you do have lunch covered this day. And also some people had food sensitivities. So the group is, where do I have the group? I know it's on here. Oh, there, group A and group B. The groups are actually, I set them up because everyone with food sensitivities is in the first one so that they would kind of know. And then the second one isn't. So that, just in case you wonder, that's why I did it that way. I think I tried to keep roommates together. Oops, shoot. Did that just, there we go. Okay, so we have our e-bike tour. I'm going in the first one, so the rest of you just need to be ready. Sorry. At darn it. Got off. Okay. There we go. At 11 for your pickup. And everybody will be back. First group by 2:20, the second group at 5. Everybody's prepaid, so you don't need to worry about that. And then we have a little break, and then our Kefalonia food tour is that evening. They said they're going to send a minibus, and Char is the area that this is in. So what I did is we'll have transportation there together, but if people want to, stay out afterwards, go out, explore, whatever, we can kind of come back on our own in taxis. But it's usually a fun way to see the area and try different food and stuff. And it's dinner, so you don't need any meals on this day. And then the next day we go to Zakynthos, and we have some time in the morning. Actually, we're not leaving till 12:45, so you'll need to give them your bags on the front desk by 11. But then we can enjoy the hotel or the area or whatever. This day, you're kind of on your own to figure out lunch by 12:45. They do have snack bars on the ferry, and we do have a connection for this ferry. So they do have a little taverna when you're waiting for the next ferry. So those are options for lunch. We get to Zakynthos, we transfer to the hotel, and I did a reservation that night. They wanted to do it at 7:30 and it was too early, so I'm working on the time for that, which would be in town. Zante town is kind of like where all the shops and restaurants and happening things are. So it's just a 10-minute taxi. The next day we have our tour of Zakynthos, and this day you'll want to bring probably a swimsuit. The first half of it involves a boat and water. We go to see Shipwreck Cove. They actually don't let you on the beach anymore, but we're going to go to another beach, and the Blue Caves. And so there is some opportunity for being in water. And then the second half of it, I think this is 7 hours, yeah, altogether. We're in a minibus and it's more like scenic mountain type of touring. And this includes lunch. You don't need lunch that day. And then the evening, again, let's see, we should be back by 4 from this tour. So you're on your own from there, but I made an optional, another dinner reservation. Where I could, I put links. These were recommended from the tour company that I used, and I looked at all of them. Okay, the next day was kind of on our own, but I found a beach club that's nearby. They said that there's a shuttle that we can take to get to them. And so I've been working that out with them. It was like a short walk away to get to it. And it's kind of on your own what you want to do there and if you want to go, and I put the website if you haven't already looked, but they've got all kinds of water stuff to do, or you can just hang out at the beach, restaurant, drinks. It's kind of typical in Europe, if you haven't done it before, that a lot of the beaches have these beach clubs, but it's kind of nice because you get a chair and you get service and they bring you drinks. And so that's the plan for that day and whatever activities you want to do. We do have Michelle leaving that evening. And then for the rest of us, we have a dinner reservation. I did it someplace that is walking distance from the hotel just because some of us will need to get packed and have the international flight the next day. But we do have time in the morning because we don't leave until 2:30 to get to the airport. And then this I think was this a change? We've had several changes. Oops. Why is this scrolling? We're leaving later than we were originally for Mykonos. I swear air has been the bane of my existence this summer. So we now don't leave, we don't depart Zakynthos till 4:25. That was the first flight of the day. We get to Athens at 5:25. We will need to, because we're changing airlines, check our bags, and the rest, those of you that aren't continuing on are spending the night in Athens, but those of us continuing on, we've got to get right over, check our bags for the next flight, and we arrive at 5:25, and that flight to Mykonos leaves at 7:10. So it's a little tight. We just need to move because checking bags takes a little bit. We get to Mykonos at 7:50, transfer, and I did dinner that evening at the hotel. So because that's kind of a long day. Next day we have a half-day tour of the highlights of Mykonos, and I made a dinner reservation that night. They have a shuttle at this hotel into Mykonos town, so you can it's every hour on the hour. You can go at 7 and our dinner's at 8:30. Ooh, I have less than 1 minute. So we're on the extension part of the trip. I sent that second link. Why don't we just all hop on that when